Welcome back to Sahara TV. My name is Rudolf Okonkwo. This is the Skype call segment when we give you the chance to give us your feedback on some of the stories we've been bringing to you. Today has been very interesting. We've been focusing on the story of the former central bank governor, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi. You know, he was fired, they say suspended, from his position on Thursday. And there have been a series of stories from then on. We spoke to Emmanuel Anyasi, who is the CEO of Sahara Reporters, who was in Nigeria when the incident happened, and he was at the airport when Sanusi was coming back to the country. We interviewed him about his experience, how he got there, and how he got the exclusive interview with Sanusi that you've all been watching on Sahara Reporters website. We also spoke to a legal mind in Lagos, Ayobe, who gave us the legal aspect of what happened and what it means for Nigeria and for anybody else who will hold that position as the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. And of course, we've been giving you other programming. We showed you the stories of African Americans, because this month, as you know, is the Black History Month. And we gave you stories about that. But now we are going to focus our discussion on the removal of the Central Bank Governor of Nigeria, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi. And before we take your calls, today we are doing something different. Instead of our regular Skype calls, we are using the Google Hangout. So it requires that you will contact us, give us your email address, and then we'll call you and get you to join the Hangout. I know we have some people already waiting, and I will be talking to them. But before then, I have a special guest here with me in the studio. I have Dr. Emmanuel Anyasi. He is the CEO of the Remote African Medical Services. Dr. Emmanuel, welcome to Sahara TV.
Thank you, Rudolph.
Now, before we go to people who are joining us via Hangouts, let me ask you, what is your take on what happened to Sanusi Lamido?
My take is that in Nigeria, we use the word suspension. It has been our lexicon for a long time. And when they say suspend, like the military, they call me, the first thing they do to suspend the Constitution. And we actually have to beg them to fight. And a lot of people die in the process. So when the president begins to use the word suspend, it frightens me, because if we allow this to slide by, it's very dangerous for our democracy. And that is why people are saying that Sanusi, especially somebody with a moral high ground, because we see the impunity there. First of all, the president has allowed a lot of things to slide. I'm not looking at it from the legal aspect, because looking at it legalistically is going to take a long while. But I'm looking at it from the moral part. I'm looking at it from the political angle. I'm looking at it from the economic consequence to the country. And that is where I look at it, that firstly, the government has done a lot of illegal things, not just this government, but the fact that Farida Waziri was removed. Even though the president didn't have the constitutional right to do that, we allowed it to slide because of some moral problems. Then Ibu was removed, we also allowed it to slide by because of some moral problems. This people didn't have any moral high ground to fight the cause. But they found that somebody like Sanusi has a moral high ground to fight this cause. And if he has a moral high ground to fight it, then he has to fight it, not just going to court, but he has to make sure that he does the right thing. What's the right thing to me? First of all, if you feel that it is morally wrong, legally wrong, for you to be removed, I will wake up and go to my office every day. And first day, you go the first day, second day, until June. He's supposed to be there till June. So you go there every day, and before you know it, everybody will be going with him. And that will tell the government that you cannot do this. But when I heard Sanusi say, oh, I don't have to go to the office, it's demoralizing, so to the least, because the same problem we had with someone like Abiola. Abiola won an election, and when he won an election, the result was suspended. This man left everybody, and everybody was fighting for him. The man was in London, And what happened? He ended up losing his life that he was trying to cherish. The same thing I'm telling, the same message I'm going to give to Sanusi, that if you have a moral high ground, wake up on Monday morning, go to your office, let it be that the government stops you from doing your job. Don't on your own accept that illegality. Now
let me, because we spoke to Ayobe, and also there was a statement made by Femi Falana, the senior advocate of Nigeria. And in his statement, he was saying that Sanusi was suspended, that nothing is wrong with suspending somebody, but what is wrong is that the government should not nominate somebody to take his position when he's still suspended, that even though you are suspended, you are still the central bank governor. So what do you think about that? The fact that anybody can be suspended, but to now appoint somebody, try to appoint somebody into that position when the person that was there is still under suspension, it gives different interpretation. It's a different meaning to that, because that position is supposed to still be there.
I'm not a lawyer, but what I know is that common sense says that to suspend means to temporarily remove, temporarily abrogate, temporarily stop a process. The man says that it is the president does not have the constitutional power to do it. So what do? You ignore it. The same thing happened.
But what if the same thing that happened to Abiola happens to him? By going back to work on Monday, he's challenging the government. Abiola was away, and people urged him to come back, and he came back, and he ended up in jail and ended up dead. Do you think that's the path for?
Rudolf, there's supposed to be a sacrifice. Somebody like Martin Luther King knew the consequence of what he was doing. Mahatma Gandhi knew what the consequence. If you have a moral high ground and you feel that this thing is, listen, I don't believe in Nigeria. I'm sorry to say, but Nigerian court is a long process, and you allow illegality to take place. First of all, he has a moral high ground. That letter coming from the presidency is illegal in the first place. It's null and void. And Monday morning, you wake up, you go there, let it be that they stop you from doing your job. You go there in the morning, they stop you, you stay there for some time, then you go back. On Tuesday, you go back the same thing. On Wednesday, you do the same thing Monday through Friday. Then even if they arrest you, they release you, you continue, you go back again. And let me tell you that if that happens, by the fourth day, the crowd that will be there, international community will be there. A lot of people will be there to watch what is going on. And they will see the nakedness of this government, that this thing cannot happen. But if we allow it to slide, this is a big, they're just giving a sign to Professor Jega that if you don't behave, that this is what you're going to do. And that is the moral consequence of this thing, that it is a bad signal, it is a dangerous signal that somebody with like Sanusi, who has a moral high ground, should be the one to fight it.
Now, let's talk about Sanusi, because also we cannot ignore the fact that coming up, we've seen a lot of reports about charges, allegations against him. You know, the government used the expression, they said there was financial recklessness and misconduct. And they've been publishing, including queries from the government to Sanusi about how he was handling money within the CBN. I don't know if you're aware of that. Yeah. Most people are saying that is just a way to distract from the major issue, which was the big allegation against the NNPC that Sanusi has been promoting. So what do you think about that? Because in Nigeria, it's always two-sided of there are two sides to the same story.
Even assuming he did everything that was wrong, everything they said he did, assuming he did that, that does not justify. It doesn't make it legal. It doesn't, the suspension, it doesn't make the suspension legal. We have a process in place. And the process is that to remove the CBN governor, you must get 2/3 of the Senate. And if you don't get the 2/3 of the Senate, then there's a problem. So no matter what he has done, that's not the issue now. I read in the Premium Times when they were talking about that he said something to Financial Times of London. And you see the problem that they are trying to regionalize this thing, making an ethnic problem, and with the Boko Haram issue. And again, the other problem, the other consequence, I think, with Sanusi was that El-Rufai going to welcome Sanusi. I think Sanusi should have distanced himself from the politicians, distance yourself from APC, distance yourself from everybody, and even the APC should stop making comments on things, because this is both a legal and moral issue. But by the time you try to make it look like the opposition is in play, is supporting him, it becomes a big problem. And that is why I would expect somebody like Lai Mohammed to restrain himself. I know you want to speak, but there are certain circumstances that you have to restrain yourself and let this thing be, let Sanusi fight this thing himself. And El-Rufai should try as much as possible to distance himself from Sanusi. And if you watch it, you find that even PDP, that's one thing about Olusegun. Olusegun himself also most times, is very, very cautious the way he comments. And that is one thing Lai Mohammed had to learn, that it's not everything that you have to bring into politics.
All right. I think we have someone joining us via, okay, I understand that we don't. So we will have more conversation, and then we take a break, and then we'll come back maybe through Skype. So, so now what happens to the $20 billion that is said to be missing or not reported to the federal account from the NNPC? Now that Sanusi, who is the only one who is insisting that money is missing, now that he's gone, what happens? What do you think will happen?
The 20 billion, 10 billion, or 49 billion that they talked about, I think this government cannot do anything because they are not going to prove themselves. And usually governments in Nigeria, they find it difficult to have internal probing, self-accounting, because they feel that they don't own anybody. People didn't vote them in anyway, so they don't have any responsibility to the people. But in a civilized system, the government itself has to be accounting to itself and to the people. And so it's not surprising that the government is taking actions. And what is going to happen? Hopefully, I think somebody is going to come. And this is that's why I'm very worried that this is a very dangerous trend. Like begin to suspend people and do things unconstitutionally. It's a very dangerous trend that we may, because some people may come tomorrow and suspend the president. And if they suspend him, we're going to get into...
Now, yeah, because let me ask you this. In today's Punch newspaper, they reported that PDP governors met with the president before the suspension, and during the meeting, they all agreed that Sanusi should be suspended because he was damaging the prospect of the president during the upcoming election, his re-election prospects. So it appears as if this is more political than anything else, if that is true, the story. So what do you think? What do you think is behind this? Is it to stop, because some people are saying it's to stop this focus on the $20 billion, but they are saying this is more like to further the chances of the president in the re-election coming up next year?
But before I go into that, I never thought that. You see, the problem is that if you suspend the CBN governor or the Secretary of Treasury in any country, there are economic consequences. The investors begin to panic. The stock market begin to panic. And therefore, the economy itself is in jeopardy. So,
no, but like what you're saying, yesterday the stock markets, they had to suspend trading on bonds. The naira was falling against the dollar. They had to come and beef it up with, influx of dollar. So there were real consequences yesterday.
Well, yeah. So we expect that. We expect that there are going to be consequences, and that also tells the international community and the market that listen, these people are the economy is very dicey. The democracy is still unstable. Because even if Sanusi did something, he's leaving in June. Between now and June, what's the rush? The government had enough time after he leaves to do whatever he wants, whatever they want to do. And talking about appointing somebody, I think they have a right to appoint somebody months before. Actually, months before, because the person whoever they appoint had to go through vetting in the National Assembly. Then he had to come to Sanusi, and then they have to show him the books and everything. But Godwin Emefiele, they appointed, I think it's a good economy. I don't know him personally, but I think he will be able to do some good job, because the first people I was hearing, I was worried. I'm not going to mention names, but the some person I was hearing before, I was like, okay, that's a dangerous part. But Godwin Emefiele, I think he's going to do some good job. But focusing on Sanusi, removing him at this time, it's whoever advised the president did a very bad job.
All right, so we are going to take a break. When we come back, we hope to get our Skype callers to join us in this conversation. Once again, thank you so much for coming on Sahara TV.
Thank you.